Hi folks, welcome to this week's Hang. This week we have a special guest, psychotherapist, author, musician Thomas Jones, who is the creator of the Paradox Process. What that is a feeling management system that puts you in control. It helps changes your perception and negative feelings. It's something that I've personally done work with Thomas, and I'm a big fan of this process, and I hope you enjoy this Hang, and I hope you take something from this. And if there's anyone who resonates with this and it does something in you, I totally encourage you to reach out and dig deeper, because it can change your life.
You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Well, Thomas Jones, welcome to the Hang.
Thank you.
It's been a while, my friend.
It's been a while.
So how do I introduce you? How are, psychologists, you're a spiritualist? What?
I've been trying to figure that out for decades,
right.
But I teach a process, the paradox process, right? Which is a mind technique. I used to be a psychotherapist. I was a traditional psychotherapist. And then with a partner, I discovered this process, this paradox process. And I found that it was much more powerful and effective than going into people's stories, right? That it's about the feelings that you're feeling now, changing those feelings in the moment and getting a different outcome. So basically, I'm a teacher of the paradox process.
So when you say taking those feelings and changing them, you know how everything you read these days, because I'm trying to put my life back together, I'm trying to come out of this depression, which we kind of talked about off camera.
Sure.
And to change feelings, but you want to go through them, right, and understand them. And
yeah, there's a saying, you got to feel it to heal it, right? And I absolutely believe in that, right? But you don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to suffer from it, right?
right.
Feelings are a signal that something needs work, and that's fine, right? If you had a pain in your knee, it would be a signal that, something needs attention here. And that's what feelings are about. But, we live in a culture that has kind of glorified feelings, in that it's almost as if it's a cult of feelings. Like, these are my feelings, and they indulge in them in a way that is not healthy. So this is a process that you get on the feelings, you feel them, you work through them, and then you get off them, and you have insight and information into the situation that you're in. So I'm all about, yes, feel it, and get through it, and then get the insight and the message that's there, and then move on, let go.
Which all sounds great. And I love I'm getting all these messages about let go through prayer, through daily affirmations. Letting go is such a big thing for me right now. Because, you hang on to nostalgia, but that's not the here and now anymore. And that's not allowing you the bravery to move on. But to be brave to let go.
Yeah. People talk about letting go, and you've heard it all your life, but it's not so easy.
No.
Okay. We have neural networks where we're attached to all those stories, all that history, all that background. And we identify with it, like, that's who I am. And so we don't want to let go. We want to know who we are. And so we refer to that past like, that's who I am. But the reality is it's not who you are. And what you're going to see, and you've already experienced this somewhat, is the more you let go, the more authentic you become, the more you show up. We're very powerful in the present. But when we're in that nostalgia or our history or our feelings, we're not present. We're back there somewhere, right? And so the idea is to, use this process or whatever process. Okay, I'm not married to this. If this didn't work, I'd drop it like a hot rock, right? But get through the feelings, get into the present, and experience who you really are. And I think that's what's happening for you, yeah?
Yeah, because it's that feeling like, okay, I'm trying to let go of everything I've not known, but that was then. So like distance has created so much, when I look at me and Mandy, like we've took for granted like this life. It's about having this being on purpose, intention of, I've had this amazing career, but it's like all that distance it did to the marriage and the separation and the distance creating that separation, So now we're on our own paths, working as friends and co-parenting and allowing to let go effectively of what we thought we knew or what we were hanging on to. Is like, but the here and now is like, that doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So let's find ourselves, be great parents, be great friends, and still support each other, but we're on our own paths.
You know what? That's a great description of rebuilding a relationship the way it's supposed to be, right? Because we have all these concepts when we get into a relationship, like it should be this and it should be
Right.
that and it should be that. And those are traps. What's happening now is that you're building a friendship. You're building a new communication based on the reality of both your situations. And so there's a lot more promise and possibility in the situation now than in the past where it wasn't working. So I love this. I think it's an evolution.
But I know for me, letting go has always been a tough thing, whether it's
Yeah.
the relationship, like the marriage or work. And now I'm finding, like with work now, stop chasing things. Just try and be available, be the best you can be at that given moment, because so much is out of your control.
Yeah, in reality, all of it is out of your control, right? But I am a control freak, and so I've gamed the system. I've discovered that you can control the outcomes through your intention, right? So you have intentions for the situations that you're in, right? You intend for it to go a certain way, and then you let go into it. You let go into your intentions, right? So you have an enormous amount of control through those intentions, through your burning desire, through your personal power. That alone will take care of all the control that you need. This other thing we do where we're trying to micromanage the moment, that never works. And the more you try to control like that, the more out of control you feel. And so you're hot on the trail of exactly where you need to be, letting go. But recognize that that doesn't mean having no say over the outcome. Because again, have an intention, have a vision, have a plan, and then let go into it.
So bringing this back to the process, and I know you work with a lot of actors, and we touched on this in an email, like I feel post-pandemic, we're still realigning. We're still, I can only speak for myself. As an artist, it's sort of like now things are really hit me, and I'm finding myself getting panic attacks. Where your breath goes, your voice goes. I'm like, I'm gonna need a second here. And the worst thing is sometimes with Nicky Arnsing in the final scene too, you're like, and I can't get it out. I'm like, okay, I got to get control of this.
Right. Yeah, that's scary. And the pandemic is so deceptive because we thought we navigated it, right? We thought, all right, I got through that. I did whatever I had to do. But it was an emotional kick in the stomach. And, I was running for the train the other day and I hit my knee on a metal bar on the way down the stairs, right? Didn't feel a thing, right? A day later, I could hardly walk. And I was like, what is this? That's what the pandemic is like. That we got through it, we thought we were okay, but now is the effect. And what it revealed was this dramatic loneliness that we all have, that we all feel, and that we have managed. When life was busy, when we were out and about, we didn't have to notice it so much. We could deflect it here and engage in that or do 100 different things or get with people. But during the pandemic, we had so much time with ourselves that we could honestly start to experience that loneliness. Now, I was thinking about this all week, and I was thinking, all right, so we have to reframe that as a gift, a complicated gift. I'll give it, I wouldn't choose it, but I'm going to call it a gift. And as a gift, it has things to offer because it bears that loneliness. It shows us that. And now we get to deal with it. Not that we want to, but we get to, right? And this is where tools come in. This is where you got to have tools, right? You got to have meditation. You got to have the paradox process. You got to have prayer. You got to have things that are going to open you up and allow you to explore that inner world and release those feelings of loneliness and despair, because we've been loaded with them over this pandemic. And so it's not surprising that you have these aftershocks, because that's what they are.
Right.
Just like my knee, a rude aftershock, I might add.
And it's that thing of changing the word loneliness into solitude as a positive thing. Like solitude's okay.
Solitude is a beautiful thing. Loneliness is a fear, actually. Mm-hmm. It's the fear that I'm alone and I'll always be alone. And when you start experiencing that fear, you can go into depression or despair, right? If you get rid of the fear, you're going to realize we often prefer to be alone. It's not a bad place, right?
Yeah.
But preference is a lot different than feeling like you're stuck in it, right? If I prefer solitude, I can invite people in when I choose. If I'm stuck in loneliness, I'm trapped, I'm isolated. And so I think that's the whole effect of this pandemic. But I do have hope for it. If people have the awareness to recognize, first of all, acknowledging, which you're doing, I think that's great. That you, I don't think it's great that you're feeling it, in Act 3, but
Yeah.
I think that, but acknowledging it is the first step toward, okay, something needs to be resolved.
Yeah, because like I looked at my life and I've done amazing things. I know everyone can use Instagram, which is so well curated. I've not only put the good stuff or like stuff I want to advertise, but deep down it's like you're constantly on the road, and what are you building? Because being an actor doesn't define who I am. I just enjoy doing it.
Right.
So then what am I?
Uh-huh.
Who am I? As a father, as a husband, what are red flags? What are red lights? What is so depleted because of distance? Friendships, family.
Yeah.
My whole life became, I'm at the center, and anything that's actually important to me is FaceTime. I'm never around anyone. Parents, brothers, wife, sons.
Wow. Yeah.
It's all FaceTime.
Yeah.
And I thought,
by the way, the deception, I understand why you hate Zoom, by the way. It's the deception of social media. We think we're engaging, right? But we end up lonelier than before.
100%.
Right?
That's why I like deleted so much. I'm like, I got nothing to offer right now. And I'm like this far away, just delete it all, because I'm like, I'm not an influencer. But is there a way to use the platform for good? I don't know. So I just hold off for a while. That's just...
Yeah, I can be in that same dilemma, right? Like, what is this for?
Because the business head is like, it's still a good thing.
My son's birthday was yesterday, and he was talking to me and complaining that, I look on social media and I see everybody surrounded by their friends and on their birthday and having a great time, and here I am alone. And I said, yeah, that's why they call it fake book, okay?
Yeah.
That's all facade. Yeah. That's all the imagined life that we wish we had.
Yeah.
But it's not real.
No, and I'm also one for like, you grow and heal in private, you love in private, that's something we should embrace more. But you want to be real as well and authentic, because I knew that was not serving me as a person anymore. I'm like, with these attacks that were happening, my throat closing up, and I'm like, I gotta do something about this.
Yeah, and that's your body telling you, something's wrong here. You're not paying attention to something. Pay attention.
And
right?
normally I wouldn't talk about this on a podcast, but I feel like if I'm going through this, there's definitely someone else going through this. So it's the only time I'll talk about it. And I think if it helps even one more person.
Oh, absolutely. It is an epidemic of loneliness. It is the number one complaint. Loneliness and isolation is the number one complaint in the world today. And it's because of the kind of cul-de-sac that we've gotten ourselves in, with social media largely helping, right?
And what I've learned, it's got nothing to do with what you have.
No.
I got this gorgeous flat.
No. That's
top
the external.
Broadway shirt.
You got it all.
None of that's real.
No, that's the external. Nothing external is ever going to change this internally, right?
I'm grateful for it, don't get me wrong.
Well, it's better than not having it, okay?
100%. And that's where like my gratitude is, okay, I may be here, but I have this. So I'm like, okay, this is a great start. And like, I'm so
what
grateful.
What do they say? Money can't buy happiness, but poverty can't buy anything. So
right.
It's great to have the things in the world. That's done. That's great. Now you got to deal with your internal world. Now you got to deal with the big questions like, who am I? Where am I going? What is my purpose? What are my lessons in life?
And do you know what else I want to add to that is what service, like, who can I be a service to?
Right. And that's great, because when you arrive there, now you've found purpose.
Because I'm getting great things, and on the horizon, there's some possible big things happening. I'm like, it can't be just about a paycheck. It can't be just another Instagram photo of look what I'm doing. It's like, what can we do with this?
Oh, I love that.
I don't have the answer for it, but
no. But as long as you're in the question, you're going to find answers, right? So, I do a process called living in the question. Like, how can I serve? How can I make this useful? How can I add value? And if you're living in that question, you're going to find answers, because opportunities will show up for you. I was talking, I forget who I was talking to, but I was talking about our internal dialogue. how we talk to ourselves, right?
Go on.
And so many people have a toxic inner dialogue, right?
Oh my God, yes.
It's awful. You know, you make a mistake and you can hear it, like, what's wrong with you? You idiot, you fool, you this, you that. We have this toxic internal dialogue and we're not even paying attention to it and we don't even know how to deal with it, right? So one of the things I love to direct this process toward is eliminating that negative internal dialogue and turning it to a positive dialogue, right? Because imagine, you know how negative you are toward yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because we all do. We all got that conversation, right?
3 days ago, I started every morning journaling gratitude, but also what's one thing you like about yourself? And it's
there
so
you go.
hard to answer that second one.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
doesn't matter what other people say.
No.
It's what do you say about yourself?
Right. And so what we do with the process, and I'll do it with you if you like. I'll walk you through an exercise. It's kind of fun.
I'll end up crying. I can feel it already. I'm fighting back this
I
emotion
promise
now.
you. How about this? I promise you won't.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not going to make you cry.
It's
I'm
not
gonna make
you, it's me.
laugh. I mean, when have I made you cry? All right, 5 times. But
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. We've had therapy, Mike. Thomas.
I know.
Why was I going to call you Michael there? Who's
That's
Michael?
my middle name, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's my son's name.
okay.
Isn't that funny? It's one of my favorite names. But
Thomas
look,
Michael Jones. That's right.
let's
That's
do a
fine.
little bit of this. And, you know, you can cry uncle if it's too much for you, okay?
All right.
But here's what I do. I set up a scale of 0 to 10, right? And let's say that we're going to deal with your feelings about you, right? And let's say that the 0 they're going to work toward is you seeing yourself as being of value, you liking yourself, you feeling good about yourself, and you being excited about how you interact with the world. How about that? So if that's 0, how far from that would you be with that
So
internal?
10 being the best.
10 is the worst, 0 is the best. I know it's a little backwards, but 10 bad, 0 good.
How I feel right now or the potential I can see? How I feel right now
Yeah.
about myself.
Yeah.
6?
Yeah, it's about halfway. 5, 6. All right, so now I'm going to start firing questions and statements at you.
Okay.
It's not going to hurt, I promise. Or maybe it is, I don't know. You're just going to say, let's use the positive. You're going to say affirm clear after each one. We're just going to use positive statements. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Is it important for me to know how much good I've already done?
Affirm.
Affirm clear.
Affirm clear.
Can I trust that I've taken a lot of heartache away from people?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that I've moved people, I've changed people, I've shown them the way?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that I may not have done it consciously, but I did it?
Affirm clear.
Can I recognize that my work has inspired people?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that it's uplifted everyone around me?
Affirm clear.
Is it important for me to know who I really am?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that I think I'm this bad guy, this rotten guy, this selfish guy, but that's nonsense?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that the only reason I think that is because someone told me?
Affirm clear.
Is it a time to throw that conversation out of my head and enter a new conversation?
Affirm clear.
What if I woke up loving the guy that I showed up in?
Affirm clear.
What if I woke up appreciating who he really is?
Affirm clear.
Is it important for me to recognize the value that I add in the world?
Affirm clear.
Is it important to recognize the potential that I have in the world?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that that conversation is wrong?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that there's a new conversation that is much more empowering, much more enlivening?
Affirm clear.
Is it important for me to enter that new conversation and buy into it?
Affirm clear.
Can I see that I really buy into the negative one?
Affirm clear.
Is it a time to throw it out the window and buy into a positive one?
Affirm clear.
Is it a time for me to recognize that I'm lovable, that I'm loved, that I'm cared for, and that I'm a giving, thoughtful soul?
Affirm clear.
Don't cry. Can I trust and know that I am of value and I give value to all those around me?
Affirm clear.
Isn't it true that I've always done my best?
Affirm clear.
Isn't it true that I've always tried to be generous of heart and generous of spirit?
Affirm clear.
Isn't that who I really am?
Affirm clear.
Aren't I even now looking for a bigger purpose?
Affirm clear.
Aren't I excited to find it?
Affirm clear.
Aren't I on my path?
Affirm clear.
Isn't it important to let the old conversation go, to get present, look toward the future, and build something beautiful?
Affirm clear.
See, that didn't hurt too much, right?
No.
And it's all true. do you think of that?
If I'm clear.
That's great. I love that. But, you know, our authentic selves are these amazing beings. You know, we're generous, we're thoughtful, we're caring, we're loving. And of course, we want to be loved in return. We want to be valued and appreciated. There's nothing in the world wrong with that, right? But that's who we really are.
And we, by humans, not just, I'm not saying this is about being an artist, it's
No, it's all human beings.
community,
We have
fellowship.
Yeah, we have that seed in us, that powerful seed of love, of acceptance, of goodness. But we've been so corrupted by that internal dialogue that's been drilled into us as kids through trauma, through history, through pain, that we buy into that version of ourselves. And it's just not true. It's nonsense.
Yeah, because you are ceiling, ceiling on our potential that we put on ourselves is based on experiences rather than, you know, like children don't have that. So they have, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Then you live life and you start putting these ceilings on you, but it's like, but why?
Because because we need love, acceptance, and approval, right? And so because we need that, we listen to the people around us. And if they're saying, that's not good, you're bad, you're wrong, you're this, you're that, we start to limit ourselves so that we can be loved. And what we don't realize is that we're diminishing ourselves so that we can get whatever love is there.
And when you say we need that, of course, as humans, we need it, but don't we need to find out within ourselves?
Yeah, and I look at it like the journey, right? I look at it like sort of like a game, right? Like we come into this world new. You know, you look at kids in a playground, they're wonderful, right? Like you said, the sky is the limit. They're joyous, they're happy, they love each other, they're playing, they're fun. And then slowly but surely we get programmed by our parents, by our environment, by society to diminish ourselves, to fit in, right? It's a very powerful influence to fit in, to be loved, to be accepted, to be approved of. And so we make ourselves smaller and smaller. The game is afoot then, because now the search is on for who we really are. The search is on to rediscover this authentic self. And when you start to rediscover it, you almost don't believe it. Like, nah, I can't be all that, right? Because you're so conditioned to being this less than that it doesn't make sense that you could be this grand being. But that's who we really are.
So how do you get that bravery where, you know, when you have that epiphany, whether it's someone like, I'm going to switch careers because this is my calling, and you feel so good about it, and there's your high.
Yeah.
Then you got to do it.
Yes. And that's the trick, right?
And
Life
the
will
high
bring
comes-
you to a high place, and then it'll pull the rug out from you and say, okay, now rebuild it on your own. Because if we just got it, we wouldn't trust it. If it was just given to us, we wouldn't believe it. But because the rug is pulled out and people don't understand that's what's supposed to happen, we then get to rebuild intelligently in a way that we own who we really are. And that's the process that you're in. You're rediscovering you and starting to own those pieces. And that's when peace of mind really starts to show up. Does that make sense to you as a process?
Yeah,
to get
100%. Because again, it goes back to like, I feel, 44, but sometimes I feel still like a child, especially as an artist. And there's so much ambition I have. And I've worked for so long that you build these skills and you're constantly building them. But there's this confidence in my skin, at least as an artist, to go, I may not know where it's going to go, but now I want to be of service. So for me, it's through prayer that I'm like, okay, where do you want me to be?
Yeah. Yeah. And
where do you need me? That also is good for being a father, as well as the support from Andy, friends. I don't know, but it's like, you decide.
Yeah. And really what you're kind of deferring to is that higher power. And that's within you as well, right? That's the real version of us, right? We're all part of that. And I love that you've come to service, because that's the highest order, right? That's how to live with joy, how to live with happiness. We have such a selfish generation coming up, right? That they're constantly looking for what they can get, what they can have, right? And they think that joy is the accumulation of stuff, right? So they're, give me this, give me that, give me that. No, all that is stuff. You're going to have to carry it around with you.
Yeah, it's in the way.
Yeah. But when you start giving, of yourself and making a difference in the world, that's when you start experiencing your real power. That's when you start feeling like who you really are.
I read a quote the other day, no one went poor by giving.
That's great. That's great. And, you know, if people understood the key to personal power, it really is about giving. Because when you give, you're seeing your power. You're expressing your power. And you're engaging with the world in the best possible way. It's a very powerful thing to do. But again, you know, people have this comfort zone that they keep working on.
Yeah.
And it's a house of cards, okay? That's what the pandemic showed us. Like, here's your comfort zone, right? Good luck with that.
And it's so easy to kind of be seduced by familiarity and comfort. And because to get uncomfortable to grow, whatever that looks like and whatever that means to the individual, that's scary and it's tough.
It is scary.
I'm saying this from a position of privilege.
I
with
understand.
what I have in my life. So I want that. It's not lost on me.
I was talking to a client yesterday, and he was complaining that he was uncomfortable and he was anxious and he was worried and he was doubtful. And I said, what if that's the price you have to pay to get to your greatness? What if there's nothing wrong with that, right? What if you recognize that those are the steps to getting to where you need to be? I'm not saying dwell in your anxiety, but accept it, acknowledge it, and work through it. Because he wanted it gone, right? We have a side that wants it gone. You know, give me a pill, give me this, give me that. I don't want to feel any pain. But the reality is, like you said before, feelings are a teacher, and you got to learn from them. And if you accept them, you'll learn an awful lot. And look where it's brought you. It's brought you to the concept of service, which again is the highest order of being, right? I love it.
It's funny you mentioned about pills too, because I'm trying to, like, even for now, not to have anything against it, but like no more alcohol for the most part. Even I've stopped drinking coffee. I'm like, let's just see what happens. Just clear as much as you can to kind of see things a bit clearer, hear things a bit louder, taste things a bit richer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going back to the process then.
Uh-huh.
What we did, that's part of the process, or that is the process?
No, that's part of it. There's many different aspects of it. And what we do is, you know, when I'm sitting across from somebody, and you know this by personal experience, I ask somebody, what do you want? What do you want to create in the world? And then we go about trying to figure out, okay, so what's in the way? And then we'll go after those obstacles. Sometimes they're emotional, sometimes they're strategic, sometimes they're actual, and we work through them. But here's what I know, that when this changes, when your point of view changes, your world changes, right? And so the real obstacles are in here. And so what I'm constantly identifying is, okay, so what's going on in there? What are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? What are your feelings? What are your expectations that are in your way from getting what you want, right?
Change your mindset, change your life, right?
That's it. And, you know, I've been doing it for 50 years, so I actually got good at it.
So I like that thing. And it's about being clear about what you want, but don't you think you also have to, like, align that with who you are, so you are what you want?
That's right.
You put that out
That's
there.
exactly right. Because what people think they want is very different than what they really want. I was sitting across from somebody who was saying, I want money, I want money. And I said, okay, but what will that do for you? What's the experience you're looking for? Turns out he wanted safety, right? And he thought money would give him safety.
Right.
So we got to look at the underlying want and then decide, is that real? Is that good? Should you go there? Can you make that happen? Right? So you got to, you know, people want fame, people want money, people want sex, people want power. And you got to ask yourself, why? Why do you want that? And usually it's that they want that reflection of themselves so that they can like themselves. And how about this? Let's start with liking yourself and see what you want to add then, right?
Yeah, it's so true. And I think, especially as artists, as we can bring this back to your work with our community, how many can actually take a compliment and just say thank you and not be like, oh, my voice tonight, like, oh, you sang great tonight. Oh, really, I was feeling it. No, just say thank you. And
Oh, man, yeah. Masters of deflection, right?
Yeah, recognize their grace and also reinforce their grace for them to go, so then they can go on and continue with that kindness because it's been received, acknowledged, and they'll be like, oh, that makes people feel good. I'm going to do that again.
Yeah. You're so right. You're so right. I have a girl who was just invited to sing at the White House, right? And she's like, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. First of all, I wanted to say, who do you think they are? You know?
Exactly.
Let's get real here.
Yeah.
Point number one. But point number two, they're not giving you a gift, okay? You've earned that. You know, you've made it clear that you have the personal power to do this, and you should honor that power.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you have to say, oh, God has been good. Thank you for the gifts. That's fine. But that's at least you acknowledging,
Yes.
I have these things, right?
And I'm learning to do that too, especially with the work I'm doing. And I was starting to put down what I did as well. But I got to the point I'm like, no, but you are touching people. Not necessarily Ramin. I could be a conduit for something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll be that.
Yeah, but think for a minute of how much joy you've given people over the years. Just think about all those audiences, right? And the smiles you put on their faces and how you lift
Most. There's some probably.
Well, isn't that who you
my
see,
ego's
though?
not that big.
That's who you see, too, right?
Yeah.
You can have 100 people clapping and one looking like,
But now I've learned to be like, that's fine as well.
right.
Because you have a right to like
Your
what you like.
experience,
And I
yeah.
still love you. All is good.
And get out.
Yeah.
No.
You paid, right? Okay, great. No, like
Then you're good.
you
But
can't
you're right.
please them
You're
all.
exactly right. You know, you take the good with the bad. You don't take your reflection from their response. But
Right.
think of the joy, you know. You know, when you think of, here, let's get a little woo-woo. You think of the vibrational frequency of love, of compassion, of joy, right? These are the things that you're sending out to people, right? And there are people who are catching it, right? They're receiving it. And some of them are receiving it at just the right moment where it's like, okay, you've changed lives. And I think own that just a little bit, right? Because then you're touching your personal power. Because when you understand your personal power, then you can wield that power for the good, right?
You know what? The other day, so I won't say who, but this person came to me and they said they had a dark moment in their life. They literally had one ticket left to go see Bounce, that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
They were going to kill themselves after that show. That was the plan.
Wow.
They went and saw Bounce, and what that was about, here to tell the tale,
That's
and
a
living
trans-
their best life ever.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Like,
That's
what?
a transformation.
Do you think anyone in that cast that night thought we're saving lives? Probably not, but you did.
But I guarantee you, you are and you have.
And I'm not saying artists, we can do that. I mean, as humans, we can just change lives by just showing up, being there, being kind, vibrating, as you say, with joy and
Yeah.
kindness.
So my work is to show people who they really are and how to apply that to the life they want in a way that they get the outcomes that they need. Right?
So if someone wants to do that, they phone up the office. Obviously, all the details will be here. Do they literally say, I want to do the process? Or is there a
Yeah, you
length
know
of
what we do?
time?
Yeah, we have a website, paradoxprocess.org. You can go there. You can sign up for a free session. We'll give you some of the work, see how it works for you, you know, see what it does for you. And if you resonate with it, great, then we'll go forward, right? Nothing is for everybody, right? Some people gravitate toward meditation, great. Some people work with prayer, some people. But if this speaks to you, this is a set of tools that's going to help you understand yourself. And I think the biggest issue people have is they don't understand themselves. They don't get it. You know, why am I in pain? Why am I lost? Why am I confused? Why am I lonely? And when you find answers to that, real answers, because there are real answers, you find your way out of the darkness. And, you know, that's what we do. We bring people out of the darkness. What you do once you're in the light, you know, great, do whatever you want, celebrate, you know, create what you want. But that's what it's about.
And I guess there's no definite time. It depends on the person. And
It depends on the person. Some people have come to me for one session and their lives have changed. Like the guy who saw Bounce, right? Their lives have changed and they're off and running and, you know, having a ball. That's great. Off you go. Some people want to delve deeper And we can go as deep as you want. We can work on everything. We can transform your life. We can change everything you want changed. Some people are looking for love. That's not that hard, okay? Some people are looking, especially in your field, that they're looking for an advancement in their career and they're hitting the wall. We show them what that wall is and how to get through it, okay? So whatever the obstacle is to what it is that you want, we help you through it. We give you the tools to work your way through it. And I think, we do a school program. We go in there with at-risk youth, right? And we show them this stuff. And they're a lot more innocent than adults. Adults are so cynical, right? Like, what is this shit, right? But kids are like, okay, I'll try it. Great. And it works amazingly for them. And I think, God, I wish I had that as a kid, right?
Yo, mate, the things I'm listening to now, podcasts or the conversations I'm having, I'm like, even in my 20s, why didn't I have this?
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, I'm really rescuing that kid that I was the whole time, right? Because if I had those opportunities, I would have soared, right? If we would have had the knowledge, the information, we would have benefited so greatly.
And maybe we did. We just weren't looking for it.
Well, yeah. We're busy messing around.
That's it. So I shouldn't be embarrassed at 44. I'm like, why shouldn't I know this already?
Yeah. Well, look, whenever you get there, you get there. And
then we're always changing too, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Growth is a never-ending process in its way. But having said that, it's not a chore, right? It's a joy. The more you discover you, the more peace of mind you get, the more authenticity you get, the more happiness you're able to create. So I'm still growing at my age, right? I'm still excited. I still discover things and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Nice.
I still got stuff to work on and my staff reminds me of those things.
Who are right behind us now.
Thank you very much.
And you have a book of the process, right?
I haven't put the process book out yet. I have a relationship book, Love Games, The Hidden Rules of Relationship. Because my first exploration was, what is this relationship thing? What is this love thing that we all get so destroyed by, right? And so it's a manual on how to navigate love, how to not take it personally, how to understand it, how to relate to somebody, what you need to give, what you need to receive, what the values are. Love Games. It's a great book. Even though I wrote it, I can say that.
And you are working on the process as a book as well?
Oh, yes. We have that written. We're pitching it now. So it'll probably get published in September or October.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Well, that'd be great for people to get to.
It's called The Paradox Process, The Road to Reinventing Yourself.
That's amazing. I can't wait to get a copy.
I'll send you an early copy.
I'm definitely going to have to book in and see again. Sounds like we've got a few things to work on.
We got stuff.
So, and the relationship book is called Love Games?
Love Games, yeah.
And without like crossing paths like too much and whatnot, what's your belief on then love languages and stuff like that?
Well, I like those models, right? I think they're useful models because they reveal something. Any model that reveals something and gives you more information is kind of useful, right? So what's your love language? Oh, quality time. Okay, so that's what I'm oriented to. Oh, little gifts and acts of service. Okay, that's what I'm oriented to, right? And it's good. Everything that gives you more information and more knowledge is a good thing, right? So I don't mind integrating everything that makes sense, right? There's a lot of silliness out there, a lot of nonsense. Yeah. But the things that really speak to you and reveal you to yourself, those are of value.
And I think deep down, we all at the root know it's just being scared to be honest with ourselves.
We're so terrified of what we're going to see, of the guy we're going to meet, like, uh-oh.
Yeah, especially if you're coming out of a comfort zone or what you've known. And like if I ever wanted to change careers, I'd be like, what? Right. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm always like, well, we'll see where life takes you.
And that's the truth. You're on a journey. But here's the thing about discovering who you really are. It's like holding onto a branch over a cliff, right? And you're holding on desperately because you don't want to see who you are. And then finally you let go and you drop 2 inches, right? And you're like, oh, this is who I am. This is all right.
Letting go. That is something that keeps coming back through my daily prayers, daily meditations, and I'll listen to a song and they're talking about letting go. I'm like, and not the Frozen song, but even there,
even
great
there.
message.
Yeah. And, it's key. It's key because we get so attached to so many different things and people that we're weighed down by all those attachments, everything we think we need. And then a crisis comes and you realize, I don't need any of that, right? So I like to catch people before they get the big wake-up calls, right? Before they get really, schooled by life. Because you can preempt that. You can learn how to let go without having been taught by life, right? Pain is our teacher, no doubt about it. But you can learn how to detach. You can learn how to be present. You can learn how to rediscover who you are and kind of get back to ground zero. And here's my message to people. You're going to like who you really are, okay? You really are. And you know what else? Most people around you know it, and you don't.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's funny stuff, right?
Well, I appreciate you coming on The Hang.
Love seeing you again.
It's so good to see you. And
So
I
fun.
think, let's get a session in.
We will do that.
Is there anything else that I might have missed that you want to let us know? Remind us of the website. I can feel your staff behind me.
Yeah, I'm being prompted here.
Let's give all the notes.
www.paradoxprocess.org. Listen, we have an ongoing Monday night class where we work on every one of these topics. 1 week it's on detachment. 1 week it's on pain and how to manage pain. 1 week it's on love and what love really means. Every week we have a different topic and we work on those topics.
How do you get involved with that class?
You can go to the website and sign up for the class.
In person, online?
It's online, yeah.
What times Mondays?
Monday night, 8 o'clock, and we have a lot of fun, okay? I don't believe the work should be heavy. I believe that it should be fun, right? If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing it.
Well, and when you have those breakthroughs and you start learning that knowledge is power, that knowledge is fun, that is exciting, and that's what's going to build your confidence. That's what works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, Monday nights.
Thursday night free class.
Thursday night free class.
What's that?
This is for people that want to just jump in, see what the process is like. Don't necessarily have a commitment. It's free. Try it,
And that's a group setting online as well?
It's a group setting
But
online.
people are can be private still for themselves if they're a bit nervous?
Yeah, you don't have to even be seen online.
Right.
Same thing with the Monday class. If you want privacy, you can just observe, right?
And
we're not going to call anyone out.
And through message board, they can contribute something?
Yes, through the chat. You can ask questions, you can interact.
How old
right?
am I? Message board.
The message board. That's great. I love that. So we're doing a retreat in Costa Rica. We're going to do this work as an intensive, right? We're going to bring some people there because we have to have a beautiful setting.
Of course.
To do
Come
the
on.
hard work.
Yes.
I got to have the ocean. I got to go swimming, right?
When's Costa Rica happening?
That is August 1st? No.
July 31st.
July 31st to August 5th.
Oh, nice. And
Thank God you're here.
How many people can go on that? What's the total?
We want about 15 people, no more.
Right.
Right? Because you got to have a set of, yes.
2 slots left.
There's 2 slots left.
There's 2 slots left.
Get in while you can, folks.
She's very funny. But yeah, we got all these activities, all these ways of getting involved. And here's the thing I want to tell people that, and I know this from on a personal level, that you've been telling yourself you want to change. You've been telling yourself that. And take the opportunity because life is flying by and jump in. You got to jump in somewhere and don't be scared. The water's fine. It's going to be okay.
And are you active on your Instagram and socials? Is there stuff people can
Yes, we're
get
on-
on that to take away?
Yeah, we're on Instagram. We give some lessons, some tips, some cues. Instagram. I think we're on TikTok. We're on Facebook.
You're not
all
on
the
TikTok.
Things. All the things. Right?
You're not doing it, though. Someone's doing it for you, right?
No, thank
In the
God.
edits? Good.
I can't dance like that. What can I say? I'm not going to do it.
I bet your dancing will bring us joy.
What's that?
We have a teen intern.
You have a
We
teen
have a teen
intern.
intern. That young brain, they can think that way.
And they're so quick with it.
Yeah. No, I don't have that. But yeah, all these different ways to get in touch with us. And I'm saying it's worth it. Jump in. If ever you're going to find a way to grow that is less painful and more revealing, this is going to be it. Paradox process.
Fantastic. Thomas, thanks for so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me. This has been great.
All right, brother. We'll see
Love
you
it.
soon.
Great seeing you.